Sphere. Players have been given the green light. Andrew Jessup is going to start it up. Concealed Courtyard into Thraben Inspector. We're going to go over to Zach Stern, who's got a Town Gossipmonger off of an Inspiring Vantage. And now we head back over to Andrew J., who's got his clue token. We'll see what his second land will be. Looks like he does have a Spire of Industry, but first things first, get in there. Stern going to fall down to 19. There's the Spire. Here is the Heart. And let's go over to Zach. Zach will draw a card. He's got a Thraben Inspector over there. Looks like a couple of lands at least, and another copy of Inspiring Vantage. He's got a Metallic Mimic, it looks like, and so much more.
Metallic Mimic, if unchecked, could be great here too.
Yeah, you do say it's about sizing. Mimic can certainly help in that regard.
Sizing, going wide, or just generally being more efficient with mana. I think those are Stern's advantages in the matchup, and Metallic Mimic, I think it's low likelihood. It matches up so poorly against Walking Ballista and Fatal Push and so forth, but if it happens to stick, that's great.
There's the Honored Crop Captain. 3/2 that's going to help transform Town Gossipmonger into Incited Rabble here shortly, I believe. For Jessup, he's just going to play, it looks like, a copy of Concealed Courtyard and pass the turn back. So Stern will transform the Gossipmonger into the Rabble. And it's time to maybe thinking about starting to attack. Zach will draw. Picked up a copy of Hanweir Garrison. Card he's playing 4 copies of here this weekend. It's been pretty impressive the times that we've seen it.
Maybe potentially a little bit of a winner here in the new format. It's been looking good so far.
You couldn't play that. You couldn't play that type of card before.
Right.
That was nonsense.
And if Fatal Push is removal spell du jour, then 3 casting cost creatures generally go up in value. Not necessarily the most reliable thing, but it's not like these standard decks are flush with sack outlets. Fatal Push with Revolt is not trivial to set up. And I think that's part of the incentive here to go a little bit bigger, as Stern has 22 lands this weekend, more than we've seen in these lists typically.
There's the Garrison after the Gossipmonger came in. The Honored Crop Captain died to an unlicensed disintegration. That's why Stern's down to 16. And Jessup will play a Plains. And now he'll play another copy of Unlicensed Disintegration to take care of the Garrison. So Stern's going to fall down to 13. And I think we might actually see an attack here from the Inspector, which means Stern's going to fall down to 12. Zach will untap, and he will draw another copy of Metallic Mimic. Of course, when you are playing a deck like Zach's, you want to play 2 spells in 1 turn as often as possible. I think he's going to be able to do that this turn.
Yeah, it looks like he has a turn set up here if he wants it of Metallic Mimic and a 1-drop. And then some Always Watchings in hand. That's a nice set of turns there.
Gossipmonger will come across for 2. Jessup looks like he's going to fall down to 15. Metallic Mimic will come in. It'll, of course, name Human. And now there is a Thraben Inspector, which will get a +1/+1 counter, and it'll bring along a clue.
So I think right now Jessup's hand here is Heart of Kiran and Archangel Avacyn. If he misses a land drop here, he's in some trouble.
He drew a Thalia.
And this is why I spoke to before about the size on the battlefield really mattering. In the absence of Always Watching, this Thalia as a 3-power first striker with the option of crewing a Heart of Kiran would be very challenging for Zach to attack through. With with Always Watching in the equation, much harder to block.
Jessup will play the Thalia, Heretic Athar. And now my question is, does he have any interest in crewing the Heart of Kiran?
No.
And the answer is no.
Block, 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 block. He is on defense right now.
All right, defense it is. Stern will draw, Glory Bound Initiate.
So you are compelled to attack with the Incited Rabble regardless.
You have no choice.
That makes an Alpha Strike here much more attractive because Jessup only gets to swallow up one thing. Either he's crewing the Heart of Kirin up or he's blocking with Dahlia. So once you're in the spot where you're losing something for sure anyway, then you might as well just go ahead and swing with everything, I think.
There's always watching.
So that only gets the Rabble up to a 3-4.
Yeah, not going to be good enough.
If the Rabble was, say, a 4-4, then only attack with that and trade with Heart of Kirin if Jessup wants it. But since you're going to lose it for free anyway, you might as well get some points in for your trouble.
So you're thinking come in with the
Everything.
rest of the friends?
And, you know, you probably lose your Metallic Mimic when it's all said and done, but you are coming across for 6 points of damage. And, you know, Jessup is starting to get fairly low. His only source of red mana is a Spire of Industry. All the points matter.
Yep. I like the attack. Now Jessup, as you mentioned, has the option of activate Heart of Kirin to take care of Incited Rabble, or he can just use his 3-2, the first striker, to take care of either Metallic Mimic or the, actually can't take care of the 3-Bin Inspector, so I take that back.
Yeah, 3-Bin Inspector can chump if Jessup wants to chump, but there's no profitable block to be had.
So first strike, take care of this. He'll end up taking 6, falling down to 8.
And again, I think Jessup, if he misses on this draw step, if it's a land that enters the battlefield tap, if it's a, I guess Scrounger would at least allow him to crew, but
Gideon would be good.
I think that's a Canyon Slough, which is really bad news.
Canyon Slough, not very exciting.
A land that enters the battlefield tap is a really rough draw.
Cracking clues, maybe? Yep. A little bit deeper. I think that was Unlicensed Disintegration.
Which is still not a great draw on this spot. Because next turn, Jessup's still in the spot where he can only cast one meaningful spell, whether it's Avacyn or his copy of Unlicensed Disintegration.
There's Canyon Slough. And all Jessup can do is pass the turn back over to Stern.
I mean, at least it is land number 5. That's something, but
it is something. Little update very quickly on our backup match with that Martyr Vehicles Mirror, where Ryan McDonough is currently up a game over Sam Collop. These guys are moving and grooving as here come the beatdowns.
And like I said, size on the battlefield is a big thing. Now, both of these creatures are too large for Heart of Kirin to block. He can put up a double block if he wants to.
Which I think there might be some interest in. So Heart of Kirin and 3-Bin Inspector look like they're going to go in front of a very large Inspector. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heart of Kirin down. 4 damage will come across. Jessup down to 4. On tap.
Now here comes the hard part. The last points of damage.
Yep.
And keep in mind, this Incited Rabble is very likely just to get swallowed up on the attack here because now Jessup has access to Archangel Avacyn. Then he follows up with Unlicensed Disintegration. Stern's at 12. Getting a shot with the Archangel. It's possible Stern will not be able to find the last few points.
It starts getting pretty tough, and we have to keep in mind, too, that his creatures start entering the battlefield tapped, so it's going to be difficult in regards to chump blocking or any of that stuff.
And it looks like Stern's got a handful of 2s, which is about the worst case scenario here. Because he can't play 2 spells in one turn.
Here is Archangel Avacyn. There will be a trigger, of course, which means that all the creatures will be indestructible. Triple block makes a lot of sense, just in case. There's the beautiful angel, here to save the day. And if it is a handful of 2s, it really does stink. There's Glorybound Initiate, which is actually pretty nice with Always Watching and the Exert.
The problem is that I think Jessup's leftovers of Heart of Kirin plus Unlicensed Disintegration just going to make it too easy for him to race him down. He attacks for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus he gets to deal 11 if he wants it. Between this attack and the Unlicensed Disintegration.
Yeah, because he can play the heart to have an artifact.
How are you stopping everything, especially with Thalia making your creatures into the battlefield tapped?
You are not. That's how.
The answer is you are not.
Yes. Thurman Inspector. Make a clue. Heart of Kirin and Unlicensed Disintegration being the last card in hand. Zach's turn will untap. He'll take what I think is his last draw step of this particular game, where things did not shake out well enough here for Zach. Got close. You can see the difference between being on the play and on the draw, I'll tell you that much. And Declaration in Stone is going to go after Archangel Avacyn. Jessup will get a second clue. Here's the attack. There's Unlicensed Disintegration. Stern's going to fall down to 1, and that'll be it, I think, for this game. It will. Andrew Jessup going to win game number 1 here over Zach Stern. Martyr Vehicles up a game over White-Red Humans as these players are going to go to the drawing board. And we're going to take a look at Zach's sideboard first. It's all those 4s and a single 3 that we're going to talk about here with 4 Gideon Allies Zendikar, 4 Needle Spires, 4 Glorybringer, 3 Selfless Spirits. So this is interesting because Zach's got 2 roads he can go. He can say, I want to be low to the ground, I want to get underneath you. Or you know what, I can go long with you, and I've got some cards that allow me to do that.
Well, he can also split the difference a little bit here and say, for example, keep a lot of the cheap cards in the deck, but get rid of the things that line up poorly against Walking Ballista. Get away from some of the 1 toughness creatures. So I think he can still keep a lot of his cheap stuff in there. You keep in things like the Town Gossip Monger, Thraben Inspector, and so forth. I still think you go to Gideon, Needle Spires, and Glorybringer. I think Selfless Spirit doesn't line up with a bunch of cards on the other side of the table the right way. And again, if you want to get a little bit away from cards that are vulnerable to Walking Ballista, then Selfless Spirit's off the table too.
Other side of things here for Andrew. A lot of 2s and 1s, as you can see. 2 Nahiri the Harbinger, 2 Oath of Ileana, 2 Release the Gremlins, 2 Sorin Grim Nemesis, 2 Transgress the Mind, a Magma Spray of Painful Truths, another copy of Cut to Ribbons. He's already got 1 in his main, and Anguish in Making, and 1 that I think is going to come in here in Fumigate.
I love the Fumigate. I think Magma Spray and Cut to Ribbons are all very good. Anguish I'm making with Stern going as big as he is probably makes the cut too. And the 2 copies of Oath of Liliana. I think Sorin is too slow and Nahiri doesn't impact the board enough.
This is an interesting situation here because if this Humans deck does pick up in some capacity, be it this White-Red version, which I do think is pretty good, White-Black, there are various ways you can go depending on what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. Right now, Marty Vehicles doesn't have anything like Radiant Flames or Sweltering Suns, but we could see it adopted.
I think you're much more likely to see the deck load up on more Magma Sprays and that sort of thing before going to a Symmetrical Sweeper, because the deck still plays with enough small creature of its own where those sweepers are going to be awkward to resolve profitably at times. But I think there is more room for this deck to be playing. You know, if the metagame goes in that direction, more copies of Magma Spray, maybe more copies of Cut to Ribbons. There are ways to load up here, but these low to the ground super aggressive decks, the Planeswalker plan, not as good here as it is against sort of the more medium speed aggressive decks in the format.
Well, those are the options there for both players. They will sideboard and shuffle up. Zach's turn will be on the play here momentarily, but let's talk about, for the final time this weekend, SCG Game Night, the very popular promotion where the month of May, starting tomorrow, is when you can win Imperious Perfect.
Yeah, you can over to go.cerseigames.com/game night for more information. Every month we make a new kit that we send to stores that are signed up for game night, and then the stores run game night however they want to, whatever format they want, and distribute the pins and tokens to these players that show up. Tomorrow will be May, and in the month of May you will be playing for Imperious Perfect, like a cat purr. Then we have, in the month of June, a Murderous Red Carp, which is a fish, but like Murderous Redcap. And then in July, Goose of Saints Trapped.
Why don't you explain this one too?
Well, Geist is like a ghost. Goose kind of sounds similar, and goose like ghosts, I guess, both fly.
There you go.
Go to StarCityGames.com/Game Night for more information. Find the Game Night closest to you in stores. If you want to get signed up, contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
You went from the soft sell to the hard sell there. Get them to the website. Right. That's important.
Head on over.
That's important.
The website, I guarantee, can do a better job of promoting it than I can.
I don't know if that's true.
Listen, I love the concept of Game Night. I do. When I was a store owner, way back in the day, running the only game in town, that would have been a great promotion to get a maybe more casual, less competitive audience into the store, random Tuesday, Wednesday night, and play for some fun prizes. Like Arena, kind of.
Yeah, but similar thing. Andrew Jessup, a player we'll take a moment to learn about here momentarily. That's the biggest smile you're going to get out of him. That right there. For the 21-year-old, resides in New York with his brother Danny, who also is a gamer. He was here this weekend, and members of Team MetaGameGurus.com are Andrew and Danny, along with Frank Scarin, Ben Friedman, and DJ JD, Jim Davis. Former baseball player, hip-hop fanatic, and fairly decent drummer as well, and is a heck of a Magic player who's got 7 open top 8s now. This is his 7th year this week, and he's still looking for that win. He has come close many times, and this might be his week. And at the very least, we know that if he's able to get one more game here, he'll be moving on to the finals to play against Ryan McDonough, who is already done taking care of Sam Kalla in the Marty Vehicles mirror. So sometimes that one can go by pretty quick. Pretty quick. But that's Andrew Jessup, folks, as we get ready here for game number 3. Been a fun release here for Amonkhet. We have seen some new cards. We have seen some new decks. It looks like a zombie deck might be a thing. Might be working on that back when I get to the old hotel room in between my draft rounds. Yep. Thank you much. Don't mind me. I could actually do all 3 at the same time. I can do a draft, work on my zombies deck, and go to Carrabba's all at once.
It's a real renaissance, man.
2017 is nice. Really nice.
Yep. The future is here.
I don't want to go to space. I don't need anything innovative.
Right.
So long as I can do those 3 things. I can do a 4th thing too. I could probably turn on like a sporting event.
Right. Before, the prospect of eating chain Italian while playing Magic Online, a mere fantasy. But now in 2017,
we are here.
Thanks to technology.
Yep.
We can do anything we want as long as whatever we want to do is low aspirational.
I just aim to what I can do. Okay? I try to keep it very realistic. Zach Stern with the Needle Spires and the Plains, along with the Raven Inspector and a Clue. So we know at least 1 Needle Spires is in from the sideboard. Again, in order for him to have made it this far, you have to imagine he's played against Martin Vehicles at least once, probably twice. So he's got to have some sort of game plan here. For Andrew Jessup, it's another copy of Shambling Vent. He's got a Thraben Inspector of his own that brings along a Clue. Stern with the Mountain. It's a Garrison. And he will pass the turn over to Jessup. Andrew will draw. He's got a copy of Archangel Evison in hand, picked up a copy of Spire of Industry for the turn, so a 3rd land doesn't appear to be a problem.
But removal is really the test here. Because if he's on a slower game plan here, he might get swallowed up here by the Garrison.
Another copy of Thraben Inspector. Here is a Spire of Industry, and this is a Heart of Kirin.
This is a big window here for Stern. I mean, if he has something like Gideon and make an emblem, he can run this game over before it even really gets started.
Well, that's 4th land. There's Gideon, and you want an emblem, you got it.
Yes.
It's time for the beatdowns.
You know, this is the vulnerability for Jessup in the matchup, is these draws that are a little fumbly, that don't defend themselves all that well. There just might not be a whole lot of time.
Magic's best strategy,
yeah.
Creatures plus Crusade.
Right. Nice clues.
Yeah. You can take your counter spells, your mana acceleration, and shove them.
Yeah. Why don't you go solve a mystery? Yeah. I'm gonna be over here doing a different thing. Solve the mystery of the missing life total.
Jessup has a hub. We'll see what this brings along with it.
It looks like he can cast into Nahiri here, which is, I mean, not shabby.
It's fine.
You know, gets rid of the garrison. He's got to kill the garrison. That's the short of it.
Yeah.
The garrison can't attack again.
Yeah.
that is not going to work.
Using energy. Here's Nahiri. Garrison down.
This would not be a bad spot for Glorybringer. The going big stuff. When you still have a good aggressive curve early on, man, is it nice to have all these big plays on the top of that.
Picked up another copy of Gideon, did Zach Stern. Oh, yes.
Oh.
That card has been really good for him.
Yeah. Just the one.
The Hanweir Battlements he only plays one copy of. It's been really freaking good for him.
Oh, goodness.
Now he's going to turn it on.
Are we melting?
We might be. Service with a smile.
So yeah, you can send, for example, your token and your Thraben Inspector at the Nahiri, and there's no way for Jessup to block and preserve that, and then everything else can go. As long as you send 2 of the creatures at the Nahiri, you're good.
Well, he can turn on the Heart of Kirin to defend it with a Nahiri.
Oh, sure.
Remove a counter, make it a 4/4, yeah.
Fair.
So it's a question of, well, the thing is, if you make Nahiri down to 1 counter, it's just not as effective. Mm-hmm. So if it's down to 1, then the only thing it can do is plus, which I don't say you don't care about, but.
Yep.
So he gets to swallow up a little something here. Now, Garrison is a 3/4, so I have to imagine the Heart of Kirin is going to swallow that up most likely. Yeah, there's that. And that might be the only block.
I still feel like if you're gonna make the attack there, then it might be worth getting rid of the Nahiri anyway, because the Nahiri is a loot and effectively a block.
Yeah, yeah. Oath of Liana, yeah, that's gone.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Not so much. Spire? It might be Avacyn time. Ah, yes, the classic.
Oh, I don't have anything to do. I'm just floating out.
It's my. Does he have land 6? Because there is the possibility. Oh, he's got Glorybringer.
Now, this is the window where Glorybringer is potentially not the best, is against Archangel Avacyn specifically. So you want to be a little bit careful.
True.
But I suppose if he blocks Archangel Avacyn in front, it's still 5/5 against 4/4. It's not that bad. But I think Stern's got the tools here to be a little bit cautious. And Jessup's turn here, discarding a removal spell, playing a 5th land and passing, suspicious enough that I think Stern will err on the side of caution. Especially since his constellation is just cast Gideon and make an emblem or make a token or something. Probably an emblem if you're respecting Archangel Avacyn.
Gonna start by sacking a clue. Picked up a copy of Glory-Bound Initiate, but also has another copy of Thraben Inspector. Sack the. He's going to give this haste. So 2, 4, 6, 0, 3. Oh, this could get ugly. Well, he's going to get him down to 1.
He gets him down to 1, and Jessup swallows up 2, but the Thraben Inspector is just pushing off of something.
Yep. Okay. I guess old Shambling Vent could say what's up.
I think you need to get the Avacyn onto the table, though. But you need another blocker for next turn.
Okay.
Also, if you don't cast the Avacyn, then you just lose the Thraben Inspector, and you just lose the vent potentially.
True. All right, there's Archangel Avacyn. Trigger on the stack, I have to imagine, will activate Heart of Kirin, do some blocking, go down to 4. Excuse me, go down to 1, take 4. And this could matter because of all those Spire of Industries.
Yep.
Those are stinkers now. Pass the turn back. Zach Stern has elected to go to the go big plan. You got the Needle Spires. We've seen Gideon. He's got another copy of Gideon in hand, and he has Glorybringer in hand. That's a Fumigate. That was a pretty good draw.
Yeah, the Fumigate here. So The upside is you gain a lot of life and you're left over with a Heart of Kirin. The downside is, can you beat the leftovers that are in Stern's hand?
Well, he doesn't even know what they are.
It's not like Jessup's follow-up is all that good.
Andrew J, lots to think about here at 1 life.
The Fumigate puts you up to 6, and you have a Heart of Kirin on defense to block. It is really rough if Stern has a Glory Bringer, if you pull the trigger on Fumigate right here.
Yeah, because it's worth mentioning again that Glory Bringer is it's a 5/5 now.
Right, there's a Gideon emblem, so that Heart of Kirin is chumping. Or
Yep.
It's tough. It's got this feeling of I can cast it right now, and maybe it's not good enough, or I can die with it in my hand. Maybe. But it's hard to believe that this is going to get better the next turn.
Yep. He's going to start by plussing, and now minusing to turn on Heart of Kirin.
I guess there could be an argument here that you have a bunch of vigilance threats and you have a shambling vent on the ground. You might be able to bleed a little bit more out of Stern. It's just Glory Bringer that makes this a scary proposition.
He's not going to cast it. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think the reasoning here is with Shambling Vent on D, Stern needs to do more, and then you can get him with the Fumigate.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Is it time to bring the glory?
I mean, if not now, not sure when. That seems like a hard spot to give it up. It's bad news if he has another Avacyn, but that's going to be
tough anyway.
That's going to be tough anyway.
Zach Stern in a tight spot now. With Andrew Jessup at 1, can Stern cross the finish line?
Here we go.
Here's Glory Bringer. 5 mana, 4/4 flying haste, and he can exert it if he does. Deals 4 damage, start non-dragon creature and opponent controls. It's actually a 5/5 right now, though, because of that Gideon emblem. Trigger with the exert, not going to attack with anything else.
Yeah, nothing to be gained by attacking into those vents.
Archangel Avacyn is going to turn on Heart of Kirin. So down goes the Archangel thanks to the very powerful dragon. And now Heart of Kirin will die. And that's it for Zach Stern. This is an opportunity for Jessup to do a little bit of card drawing.
Which is nice. He's going to need more than what he has right now, I think, to beat the follow-up.
He'll draw another card. He's picked up a copy of Unlicensed Disintegration. Looks like another copy of Heart of Kirin. He'll draw. Didn't get a great look. He'll plus, discarding Unlicensed Disintegration that he can't realistically cast right now for multiple reasons, as there he picked up a mountain. Here is a mountain. It's time for Fumigate. He will cast this. 5 creatures will die. He'll go up to 6. He's already used Nahiri. And now, is the follow-up Heart of Kiran, or is the follow-up leave up Fatal Push? Looks like it's going to be Heart of Kiran with the way he's tapping his mana.
Makes sense. You know, you have the Nahiri, so you can turn on the Heart of Kiran. And if you don't do anything and lead up Fatal Push, if Stern plays Garrison, you just die.
Draw. Now that's a land there for Stern. And I'm curious if we're going to see a hasty Gideon, perhaps. He can go towards Lieutenant and Glorybound Initiate. But a Gideon with haste does provide lethal right now.
Yeah, you get to a 6/6. It basically just forces a chump block with Heart of Kiran. And there's nothing on the battlefield for Jessup to really tax the Gideon the next turn.
The thing that's interesting about this play, though, is I don't know if he like, it's a little counterintuitive to play Gideon, make it a 5/5, and then battlements it.
Yep.
So he's going to go to Glorybound Initiate and now Thalia's Lieutenant. And he'll give this haste. So this is still similar.
Yeah, this sets up the same line.
And he will exert here, I have to imagine. So that's just a chump block.
Yeah, I mean, this is, same chump block, still at 6.
Yep, still 6/6. The only bad thing here is that Glorybound doesn't get to attack next turn, so it was exerted. No always watching on the battlefield. To Jessup we go.
Oh, there's something to be said for that, you know, if it's not bad to exert anyway, if the Nahiri is just going to kill it, then
Sure.
it's sort of whatever.
Sure. Jessup is trying to hang on. He was at 1. There goes the Glorybound Initiates. Now what?
Brought in the Sorin? Oh, Ballista.
Ballista.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing. What the heck's that thing doing in there if it was Sorin? Here is Ballista, though. And pass. Now keep in mind that Thalia's Lieutenant right now is a 2/2. And he picked up another copy of Glorybound Initiate. Now we'll take a look at the battlements really quickly here, because that's the card that's playing a pretty big role in things right now, I'd say. Glorybound Initiate, we saw that last turn. We're used to this one. That looks like the one he's going to cast. And we'll have a response here from Jessup. But you see, target creature gains haste until end of turn. This is actually a pretty vital turn here for Jessup, because he gets the opportunity to turn this thing around in a big way if Zach's turn gives this thing haste with that Fatal Push in hand.
Yep.
He gets to do a sweeping untap, gets access to Nahiri, will still have his Ballista.
Maybe be able to fire up Event.
Instead, we're going to see Gideon. Gideon is going to come down. Of course, starts on 4. A 2/2 will be made. And Zach Stern is still trying to apply the pressure, and Andrew Jessup is still trying to hold on. Push. It will take care of the Glorybound Initiate. Jessup will untap with a Nahiri. A Walking Ballista on 1 card in hand, and plenty of lands on the battlefield. Big draw step here. Unlicensed Disintegration, the card in hand. Fair enough.
Great spot here. I mean, he can take care of the Gideon this turn.
He sure can.
And if he starts getting in with the Vent, pulls himself back up.
He's going to start by plussing. Unlicensed Disintegration will take care of that. Redirect over there. Ballista will finish, it appears. The follow-up is another Walking Ballista. Zach Stern is cardless, and he is in trouble. He'll draw. Now, I think the best draw here is probably Garrison.
Garrison's a very good draw. Can't be ballisted down before combat and just comes with a lot of power.
He'll start by sacrificing a clue. He picked up an Honored Crop Captain and now a copy of Thalia's Lieutenant.
Starting to get away. You know, I was nervous about some of the smaller creatures in the matchup just because of Walking Ballista. The Gideon Emblem is going to protect Stern a little bit here. It won't be trivial for Jessup to gun down all these small creatures, but still problematic.
Oh. I think in this instance, I want to start with Thalia's Lieutenant and then go to Honored Crop Captain because I actually want the counter on the Lieutenant. I think. He's going to start with Honored Crop Captain, though. Here's Lieutenant. Remember, Honored Crop Captain right now is going to be a little bit tougher because of the Gideon Emblem and now the counter. Pass the turn back. Jessup empty-handed. 7 lands on the battlefield. That Nahiri's been there a long time. Up goes the Harbinger. Away goes the Concealed Courtyard. Didn't see what Andrew drew. He's got a knack for hiding it. But what we do know is there are 2 Walking Ballistas on the battlefield. 1 at 2, 1 at 1. A couple of shambling vents down there, but not a lot of life to work with. He'll play a Plains.
Gets him up to 8 mana.
Still got to be very careful. There's Needle Spires down there. There's a draw step coming. Needle Spires was the draw here for Zach Stern, which might allow him or make him want to fire at the Needle Spires that's on the battlefield currently.
It's just firing up the Needle Spires, you're just trading with the 8 mana that's up. I mean, I know it's not one or the other, these ballistas are going to be good, but
I think you just got to try to find a way to exhaust him down somehow. Because they're 2-1 right now. If he's able to make it, 3-2, and get to untap or something like that, like I feel like he has to kind of throw some stuff away.
Yep.
Let's say that. Which is not the sexiest thing in the world, but I feel like it's kind of got to be done.
But with the shambling vents on defense too, I don't know. This might be rocking a hard place territory, but
Needle Spires has been animated. And I think Andrew might have a response. I mean, it's kind of cards up right now, face up in regards to what Zach can do.
Yeah, you would, if you're going to consider killing the Honored Crop Captain, you want to do it before he attacks with it, obviously. But I think Jessup could just let him move into combat here. To be honest, I don't think there's a path for Stern to make a really productive attack. Yeah, and I think Jessup's drawing the same conclusion of just come get it, whatever you're going to do.
Well, here they come.
I mean, the second Ballista is just on such strong diminishing returns here that I don't even mind just chumping the Captain with a Ballista and shooting down the Spire. Because 8 mana trades with the Needle Spire.
Well, we'll see. Needle Spire looks like it's going towards Nahiri. We can confirm that. Yeah. The Needle Spire is just going at the Planeswalker. Jessup says, all right, I will chump, as you mentioned, and then finish off the Needle Spires.
Yep.
And Zach Stern will replay a Needle Spires now, and that's his turn. Jessup's going to allow Jessup to move this up to 3. He gets to untap. He gets to draw. He'll activate Nahiri. It's going to go up to 8.
I think maybe down to 4.
Really? Okay.
Just
sure.
keep terminating.
Sure. Just keep making exchanges?
It's not like building to the ultimate really gets him anywhere.
Okay.
I mean, now there's obviously no attacks.
There's an attack here for him.
On the other side.
Got to get those points in when you can. It's a little risky. I don't know what Andrew drew. He's got a card in his hand. I only find it to be risky because of that battlements.
Sure.
That thing could pop something out of it.
But the worst case scenario, you still have the vents on D.
Jessup thought about playing a land. It was an inspiring vantage, and he said he thought better of it.
8's the magic number here. That gets you the 2 activations of the Walking Ballista. So you may want to loot away next turn.
Inspector brings a clue along with it. He's going to bring Thalia's Lieutenant down to 1 to take care, bring Ballista down to 1 to take care of Thalia's Lieutenant before Inspector resolves. Now the clue comes in.
Just wants to make sure that there's nothing that Stern can really find off of sacking the clue and then activating the land to get something meaningful haste. And I don't think such a thing exists because he can still block with the vents. Worst comes to worst.
I think Stern just drew a land too, and now it's getting away. If it wasn't before, it is now.
And 6 is something of a magic number 2 because it means there's that Glorybringer can't finish off the game in 1 hit.
Yep.
And as long as the Vent is back on defense, even a Ripped Gideon with haste is not that impactful.
Jessup will plus the Nahiri. Now it's at 6 again. Discard and draw. Heart of Kirin, and I believe a land in hand for Andrew. Remember, at one stage this game, he was at 1. But a timely Fumigate brought him up to 6. And he's been walking that tightrope ever since. Looks like he's going to cycle a Canyon Slough. And a cut.
Not a bad one to draw here.
There are worse draws.
Speed up the clock a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And here is cut. We'll get to ribbons soon enough.
I think he can fire up a Vent too and get in with that.
I think he's got some interest here, and let's get this out here.
Fine insurance policy. That's fine.
It'll be pretty safe. And I think we might see the old Ballista walk on in. That's just what it's going to do. Not a lot to fear right now for Andrew, I don't think. I think he's done a nice job of cutting off some outs here. Trying to think of what Zach's best draw is.
I mean, Glorybringer on this spot is still good.
Strikes me as okay.
I mean, I guess you still block with Heart of Kirin and just move on token.
Yeah. Well, you can block. You can block it with Heart and kill it with the token, like you mentioned. You can Nahiri it.
Right. He has to commit the exert.
Yep.
So you know whether or not it's going to be good.
Needle Spires in there. It's a 3/2. It's a dead 3/2. Play another one, pass the turn back. This game, a display of the power of Nahiri, among other things.
Yes. And also just Walking Ballista in a protracted game.
It shows the resiliency of this Martyr Vehicles deck. A lot of people look at this deck as an aggressive deck. It's a very complete 75 card deck right here. As here's an attack for 7. Excuse me, an attack for 5. I take it back.
Yeah, now Ribbons plus the Ballista is good.
Yep. And that is going to do it. Andrew Jessup going to win this match here over Zach Stern. 2-0. Number 1 overall seed with his Martyr Vehicles deck is taking down White-Red Humans and moving on to the finals to see if he can finally get that first SCG Tour win.
Yep, 1 away would be a big deal. If they played that game too was Not easy.
No.
A lot of opportunities
No.
to slip up, and it's that mixture of sort of broad strategic play, what's my role in the matchup and how do I go about executing it, and then the tactical play of how am I managing the resources, what do the stats on the table look like. All of it was really important. No margin for error. He went down to 1 in that game. I think Andrew, bend but don't break, got as much as possible out of that Fumigate, and then was able to eventually walk away with the game with Walking Ballista.
I think a lot of people would have cast a Fumigate on that turn, but he kind of assessed the situation for a moment, and that's what great players do is they take a moment and step back and see what they can do with their cards.
Yes.
Because drawing a Fumigate that turn, I even thought about, hey, let's just cast this now, kind of reset some things, and he said, you know what, I can do this a turn later and be okay, and I think that actually helped him win that game more than we even know.
And definitely, I mean, I think with the Shambling event there on defense, there was a reasoning of he doesn't really have a great attack right now, probably get to bleed a bit more, and he was right, and the Fumigate ended up being a game-winning play.
Heck of a win there for Andrew Jessup. See if he can win one more match here this weekend. It's been his weekend all the way through. Ryan McDonough is going to try to play spoiler, and that's our final match for you guys. So we do take a short break here from Atlanta at the Infinite Energy Center. When we do come back, it's Jessup, it's McDonough, it's a Martyr Vehicles mirror for the title.
The StarCityGames.com Creature Collection presents Fleecekeeper. Starting in April, get sleeves, playmats, player bundles, and more at go.starcitygames.com/creature collection. If you're looking for more Fleecekeeper, check out Game Night. Bringing friendly competition and exclusive prizes to stores worldwide, Game Night features Fleecekeeper tokens and pins all throughout April. Head to go.starcitygames.com/game night and find a store near you.